9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh, did you just inherit a house that you weren't prepared for? I mean, it happens, right? Everything goes crazy. Well, I'm Lori Alvarez with Real Estate with Soul, and I'm here to talk to that person who just unexpectedly received real estate, and they're like, what the heck do I do next? Well, we've got answers for you, and we're here to help you move that forward. So look, today we're talking about situations where many families never expect to inherit real estate, and all of a sudden mom unexpectedly passes away, or dad has to move into assisted living, right? Or a family member just randomly inherits a home and accidentally, suddenly, they're standing in a home that hasn't been updated in over 30 years. And they're wondering, what the heck do I do now? I don't have, one, the money for this, two, the time for this, or three, the energy for this. And to be completely transparent, I'm not even interested in it. I just want to maybe sell it as is. Or maybe you're like, you know what, I think before we sell it, we need to fix it up. We need to make sure we maximize its value. So how do you go about doing that if you don't have money for it? Or you don't have the time for it? Or you don't have the energy for it? And you don't even know the first thing about home renovations. You don't know what you should improve or not. I mean, that's the part that can be a bit overwhelming. So today I'm going to share just how REsolved Concierge works for you and helping all of you out there solve this problem, right? And I'm not the only one that offers this service. So just look for it, and I think you'll be surprised at how many resources you'll find. Okay, look, here's the reality of an inherited home. You have probably an original kitchen and original bathrooms, maybe that orange shag carpet on top of those beautiful wood floors that your family never got to see, right? Oh, and then the popcorn ceilings. Oh, and then there's the deferred maintenance. It hasn't had a termite inspection in 30 years. There's wood rot all around the property. The fences are falling down. Like, it's just, let's be real, full of stuff and just a transparent mess. Come on, it just happens, right? It's easy to sell the pretty house. It's not so easy to sell the house that's full of a lifetime of memories. You know, the weeds could be overgrown, and all the family, of course, is living in another state, so they're not here to help. I mean, really, honestly, you're doing it on your own. That sounds like you're just on pace for something that sounds fantastic in a real estate market that's not really that easy right now. I mean, the reality is we have 6% interest rates. We have craziness in the economy. We don't know what's exactly happening. And so we don't even know, should we even sell now? That's the crazy thing. How long should we keep the house? Well, I can't afford to keep the house. Those are all the questions that I hear day in and day out from so many families that are talking about, like, I just inherited a house, Lori, I don't know what to do. The house isn't the problem, I promise you. Your emotions are. It's the emotions attached to it. You either have really ecstatic, excited emotions, or you have this dread, or this scares, or this mourning for the house, this loss for a house that maybe you grew up in or you didn't. Maybe it was your bedroom when you were a young woman or not, or a young man. Maybe there's great memories in this house or not. That is definitely everything that has to do with the sale of this property. People are grieving, they're overwhelmed, and they're trying to make financial sense of a situation that just isn't in their budget or wheelhouse. That is what you're really dealing with right now. So, the biggest myth out there, well, it's just sell it as is, let the next buyer deal with it. Easy to say that, so much easier. You say, oh, they'll paint and they'll put new carpet and they'll make it look the way they just want to do it. I don't want to do it. I just recently sat down with a family who actually had that opinion. It was 2 siblings inherited mom's and dad's house. And guess what? One sibling was like, get rid of it, just sell it, put it on the market just the way it is. And the other sibling was like, I have $30,000. Let's go ahead and make sure it can sell for the most that it can. And so luckily this family, they could come together and say, okay, fine. If you're willing to pay for it, then I'm okay with you taking the time to do it. But the brother who had the money, well, he just wasn't local. And the other brother, he was like, I'm not going to deal with it. So that's where we come into play. That's where Real Estate Resolved Concierge is there for you. This family opted to use their own money and what I like to say, boots on the ground. I am working for you at that house daily with the licensed professionals that need to get in there to make this property the best property it can be, so we can sell it for the most amount of money as possible, right? Like, it's not going to be HGTV perfect. It's just not going to be that. That's not what we're going for. And we're not doing big 200 square foot, adding on square footage. No. We're just doing simple, clean, cosmetic upgrades. So the house shows in such a way that a young family can move right in and enjoy it and then customize it over time. Because in another episode you'll hear soon, we'll talk about affordability and how much it is to get into a house and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I bought this house, I have no more money, and I can't afford to put new carpet in. I can't afford to paint it. I can't afford to do this or that. Well, that's what we do for these families so that when they get in there, they get just the home they need to be in. So we help with paint, flooring, lighting, landscaping, hardware, cleaning, minor repairs. We make sure all the stuff is moved out and everything is taken care of. That's what we can do. And as an added benefit, if you don't have $30,000, yes, you can borrow the money right from our brokerage. You don't even have to have the cash up front to make this happen. You can pay for it at close of escrow from the proceeds. Now, there's all kinds of stuff attached to that. Yes, there's this and there's that, and everyone's got a different way of doing it. But it's not stuff that doesn't make great sense. Because I can tell you right now, the siblings that inherited this house that I'm talking about, this was our small $30,000 project. Now, to you, that may not sound like a small project, but we also did at the same time a $70,000 project. Both properties sold for more money when they looked move-in ready than when they were just put on the market in the condition that they were in. Because I'll be really transparent, I've sold the ugly house with all the stuff in it. And that's a whole nother podcast episode. We could talk about that. That's typically our 1 day or 2 day home sale. But this is for the family member who says, I want to maximize this house and I want to see if I can market it at top dollar. We need every penny for it, from it. And so that's what I do. I'm your boots on the ground. So we did that. Now I'll give you real numbers. We listed this house at $920,000. We did about $28,000 worth of upgrades. We painted the exterior, we painted the interior. We didn't even remove the popcorn ceilings. We left those. We put in new flooring and we just did carpet. We made it simple. I advise something other than carpet because the world likes other than carpet right now. And it was too much. It was too high on the budget for the family. So we did a nice neutral carpet and we removed all of the old stuff. That was a big project because it didn't qualify for that estate sale. It was just stuff that had no real value except sentimental value. So we got that all donated and moved out. And yes, there was an expense to that. And then we organized what we kept so that we could stage it perfectly with some of the furniture that was already in there. And we were able to put the house on the market. It took us about 4 weeks to do this project. And we put the house on the market at $920,000. Had we not done any of that work, my recommended list price on that would have been about $850,000, maybe $849,000, $830,000. We did all of that, and guess what? We sold it right at its list price, $920,000. Now there was some negotiating after the fact because the reality is the deferred maintenance was still there in the technical aspect of the property, the pipes. We didn't play with plumbing. We didn't do any of that. So we still gave a seller credit to the buyer so that they could take care of that. So when we were finished, the property still sold for $70,000 more than if they would have just thrown it on the market with the stuff in it, just like it was. So I think 4 weeks and Lori's boots on the ground made great sense for $70,000. It's a win-win for all of us. Because remember, I get paid more when I sell your house for more too. It was a fantastic win-win for the family. So, story number 2. That one was a even bigger win. This family was thrilled. We did a lot more, and they borrowed the money from our brokerage because they didn't want to or feel the need to use their personal money to fund this project. So the money was lent to them. They borrowed about $70,000. And the work was completed. It took us about 5 weeks. We listed that property for 1.1. We did some lighting. We did, the floors. Oh, the floors. They were gorgeous. When we took up the orange shag carpets, we refinished those floors with a oil-based stain. Oh, I'll just tell you, our open house was crazy. We had 30 people through on day 1, 30 people through on day 2. We listed it at 1.15 and we sold it at 1.3 something. $70,000 worth of upgrades for, they made 200 or so thousand more, right? So like $140,000 more And in all transparency, if we would have listed it in just the condition that it was in and not done any of the upgrades, the list price probably would have been just under $1 million. They probably also wouldn't have hired me if I suggested that list price. But that's what I truly believe. So these are real stories of real families that decided they wanted to go with the REsolved Concierge Program. And we had great results. Now, we can't promise that that's going to happen every single time. We don't know what's going to happen. What we do know is if you want to get the most out of your property, you need to look ready for a family to move right in. Otherwise, if you look anything like less than that, it's investors who are offering less money for your property, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a time and place for that as well. So what Concierge REsolved actually does for you is we coordinate with the contractors and the painters, the flooring, the clean out. We handle the handyman. We handle the inspections. I've got to go meet a city inspector here pretty shortly. We handle the staging and the photography and the marketing. If you want a designer, we have the designer be part of it as well. And guess what? In the end, if you don't want to pay for any of it, you can pay for it at the end at close of escrow. And yes, those numbers are determined by the upgrades that we're going to do. I have another one coming up that I'm very excited about as well, right? So all the numbers, they definitely move into the scope of the project. How much do we really need? What are we doing? And we don't want to overdo the house. We need to do it just so when the family walks in or the buyer walks in, they go, I see me in this house. So who's the program for? It's great for probate sellers. It's great for if you've inherited a property and you're a trust sell. It's great for the senior who needs to downsize. It's great for the rental property owners, formerly known as landlords, who have worn out rental properties, right? And it's also great for adult children who are helping their parents or their family relocate. And it's just great for a family who's relocating themselves. And then it is definitely for the homeowner who doesn't have the cash available to do any of this. That's what we're here for. So what I've learned and over the last 22 years is that most people don't need another real estate agent. What they truly need is a guide, someone that can give them solutions, help them through the process, someone who can walk into the home, create a plan, put the calendar together, help them through the process so that they can maximize one of their largest assets, one of their greatest assets, one that impacts their future and their history. So that's why we've created the Concierge REsolved Program. Because home starts with you. We're just here to guide you through the process.